I'm trying to rearrange the screen. It's weird because I have 4 on the bottom and 2 on the top. Hello, everybody.
Hi. All right, we'll see you guys again.
And feel free to start talking while I mess with OBS.
So do we have to join the live?
Do you want to see the
Yes.
On our mobile? Yeah, okay. Let me see what that is.
Let's put my screen in front of me.
Bom dia.
I'm glad everybody is here with us today. I'm super excited. Everybody, Violet, are you gonna have everybody do a little introduction?
Absolutely. I am just messing with the screen. I'm sorry.
So your top left corner, why don't you start, Melanie?
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Melanie. I am here on Insight Timer. I started in November and I do mindful cooking. I've been teaching cooking for 28 years and I started teaching mindfulness about 4 years ago. And I really love to bridge that gap for people because cooking is something that most of us do at least once a day. So it's like a perfect opportunity to be very mindful.
Yummy.
I'm going to move on to Peter so that I can keep messing with the screen.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Pete. I also just been teaching a little less than a year, started in August of last year. And I love to teach telekinesis and our ability to manifest our desires into the world. That's how I teach telekinesis, that we are manifesting movement. So we use something like this, a pinwheel, a little tiny on your screen, but just something light balanced on top of something sharp, creating a low friction environment. We can manifest movement and see it happen in front of our eyes and use that as biofeedback for our manifestation muscle. And then I teach yoga and journaling, and what is alive in me right now is I'm excited to learn astral projection. So I'm going on a retreat to the Monroe Institute tomorrow for a week of that. Wish me luck in the astral.
Yes, that sounds amazing.
It feels like it'll be fun.
I took everybody out of order. Okay, now I see Julie next. Oh, no, I see Blossom.
Hello, everyone. Some of you may know me. I play piano here on Insight Timer.
Oh, I see. The sun is now beating.
I'm a teacher in February 2023. And what an amazing journey this has been. I'm enjoying every minute of it. And here's my new piano.
It's beautiful.
It's mustard yellow.
Very nice.
Now, I won't be playing today because I still have to get things sorted. So, great to be here with all of you.
Greg, you're up next.
I'm up next. Hi, everybody. My name is Greg Phillips. It's a pleasure to meet you all. And some of you probably already know me. I haven't logged into the app yet, so I'm not really sure who's here. So if I know you, I'll find out your name and I'll say hi. Anyways, I'm a spiritual guide for seekers and sensitives who are on the path to their heart. I do a lot of energy work, energy readings. I do channeling. I do some energy healing. Something I call loving guidance, which is kind of a combination of the energy reading and spiritual coaching. My lives are mostly, right now, they're mostly either energy readings, channel readings, or oracle card pull readings. But I also occasionally do what I call sacred energy journeys, where as a group we go on a journey into our heart and we use our own energy to kind of do shadow work or meet our guides, whatnot. Right now, I'm really, really digging doing readings again. I had stopped doing them for a couple months. I started doing lives in December. I've been a teacher since November of last year. And but recently started doing readings again, and I'm just feeling like I'm really in the zone with them and having so much fun with them. And I started doing something called a readings buffet, where folks get called on based on what is it? It's called the Wheel of Names app. So anybody can get a reading during my lives, no matter what time they show up. And then they get to choose what kind of reading they want. They could be energy or a channel message. And it's just been so fun to let everybody pick kind of how they want their guidance delivered. So it's been a blast, and I've really enjoyed it. I love doing it.
I love that you do that. I love the buffet. I saw that one time and I thought, what a great idea, because sometimes people rush to get in so they can get a reading. And it's awesome that you give everybody an opportunity by doing that.
Well, we have to thank our dear friend Rev J in the gang.
Oh, she came up with
recommended
that.
wheel of names,
Awesome.
and everybody's loved it because, I mean, like you said, anybody who comes in at any time has a chance to get a reading, and it's just been really fun that way. The buffet just adds a little bit of extra fun and choice into it, I guess. So I might call it roulette, reading roulette. I'm not really sure. I love making up fun names.
I love that. All right, Julie, you're next.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you, Violet and Melanie, for inviting us to do this.
Absolutely.
So fun. So I teach a practice called iRest, which is a form of Yoga Nidra. It's a profound practice of meditation and self-inquiry that helps us to get out of our heads and out of the anxiety and overthinking, and to reconnect with our body's innate wisdom. So it's really a step-by-step befriending of our experience, because at the heart of it, it's all about welcoming. We're welcoming everything that arises in our experience as a messenger. So all the sensations, the thoughts, the images, and everything arising as a messenger that we can invite in for conversation. And as we do, the messages are seen, felt, and heard, and then they move through us naturally.
Beautiful.
And we're left feeling lighter and with a sense of the way forward. Insights often arise in this kind of space. And you'll see from my profile that I teach a lot of practices for kids. And I have a few recordings there for adults too, for sleep. So yeah. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. I think most of you know me. I'm the tech geek that loves to play with crystals and cards and gets into everything. So Melanie and I did a couple of lives together, and my friend Kathy, who I see is here, also have done lives together. And I love doing lives with other people. I tell everybody I'm very much an introvert. So Insight Timer has helped me break out of that shell. And being able to engage with other teachers, to me, is just amazing. It's uplifting. And I just want more of it. So we did a few lives together. We had so much fun. And we were chatting with teachers who were watching. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if instead of them typing in the chat, they could be on screen with us and we could all talk and maybe do a Q&A, maybe introduce the audience to people that they don't know, or they could ask questions to the ones that they do know. So this is not scripted. We're just going to go with the flow. When you first got here, I know I was busy messing with the screen, which I finally got it perfect. You know, this software can be so challenging, but you know, as a tech geek, I love it, because you throw any challenge at me, I'm up for it. So I'm so excited that this is working and that we're all here together. And I'm trying to scroll up and see a bunch of people said hello, and I missed everything. Hi, Peta and Jean and Jessica K, Cecilia CG. Carly is here. And Carly, next time you're joining us, because Carly's another awesome teacher. Hey, Danny.
Awesome, Danny.
Laura. It's so great to have all these people. I mean, I see a lot of you during my lives. I see a lot of you in other teachers' lives, because I try. Hey, Megan, another awesome teacher. I love going to all the other lives, and I'm just enjoying getting to hang out with the teachers and getting to know everybody. Hi, Lisa. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you to the teachers that are here and the ones that are watching. I want you to come do this with us next time as well, because I was saying before we got started that eventually we want to have 9 so we could do our own Hollywood Squares, you know. We've got 6 right now, which is an awesome number. So I'm just going to put it out there. Does anybody have anything they want to share? Anybody have any questions? You know, we're here to just hang out.
That's a great question.
Who did?
People on the chat.
Oh, Jessica. Jessica, okay.
What has Insight Timer brought to each of our lives?
Well, that is a great question. I was going to say, yes, please, let's start.
So I've always been, I don't want to influence other people with how I see the world. So all through my life, I've always just kind of held back and watched and appreciated the beautiful perspectives other people have. But I didn't realize what I was missing out on in sharing the way that I see the world. Especially, I have 4 kids, and I never really talked to them about, like, what do I believe and what do I think is real and what's important. And so when I started teaching this on Timer, I wanted to share, well, what I want is I want to live in a world where telekinesis is normal and people talk about it all the time and are doing it, and run into somebody on the street and you're like, well, how's your telekinesis practice going? And it's a normal conversation. And so there's not a lot of telekinesis teachers out there. So I stepped into the role because I realized I have a lot to say about it and a lot of experience with it. But I also, in sharing that, it's like I've found my voice and confidence in sharing what I know to be true. And my kids get to hear it, like right now they're out in another room, but they hear me saying what I believe and know to be true, and what I know to be important. And it's totally filled me with confidence, and my throat chakra is fully activated.
That's awesome.
Inside Timer.
That is awesome. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. Oh, you go, Greg.
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you. That's the first time anyone's called me a lady. Just kidding. So I have taught on other platforms that are strictly cooking platforms, and it was just a little empty and flat for me. And I was always on Insight Timer as a user. And Susie Sands, who was another practitioner on here, had said, like, why aren't you teaching on Insight Timer? And then I was like, oh, great idea. And for me, it really helps build community, because that's what food is for me. It's all about community building. I grew up on a farm, and we always had community to our house doing all types of activities related to food. So it's just an extension of that. And I feel like it's a really amazing opportunity because it's worldwide. And I would not be able to reach that platform, people anywhere else. So I'm super grateful for this platform and for all of you here, whether it's a teacher or participants. I'm grateful that you guys show up for all of us. It means a lot.
Go ahead, Greg.
All right. I think I've been using the app for, gosh, 3.5, 4 years now. For the last 12 years of my life, I've been sort of living in isolation. And a couple of years back, I was really feeling, how do I put it? I was just really feeling a deepening desire for community again in my life. And I really didn't know where to look. I live in an area where I grew up originally, and the energy for the geographical area, I'm just not inspired by it. I'm not interested in anything. I didn't really want to invest myself in it. And I've been living an online life for about 10, 12 years. And I thought, well, maybe there's something to look for there. At the time, I was looking for a meditation timer. And so I asked my brother, who teaches meditation locally, and he said, yeah, a couple of people I know use different apps. And he gave me a couple of names, and I chose Insight Timer. And at first it was just using the timer. And then I discovered there was a massive library of songs and musicians and composers with amazing stuff. And I discovered there was guided meditations and all sorts of talks. And I discovered that there were teachers doing lives. So it just unfolded for me. I still do the music with my meditations pretty much every day. I just love the composers, the app, and I love the community and how it's developed. I love being able to pop into somebody else's live, and there's almost 100% guaranteed that I'll see somebody that I know from another live or anything. And then as my personal gifts were unfolding in 2023, I really felt deeply that I wanted to become a teacher and do lives on the app myself. And so I went through a lot of ups and downs and a lot of fears and a lot of worries and all sorts of crazy stuff, and trial and error, like is true in my life by my human design. And then last September, I just got tired of the back and forth enough so that I finally surrendered and I said yes. and it's been an incredible ride. My gift just keeps expanding. Like there's stuff I've been doing in lives lately that I didn't even know I could even do. And just it just all feels really natural and really comfortable to me. So I have to echo what Pete said about the experience of doing it has really boosted my confidence in my gifts, but also my confidence that I can have an impact in people's lives, which is probably what's most important to me. So I love having y'all here. Hey, Inga, good to see you. Hi, Cecilia. Nice to see you too. I'm finally able to look at the chat. Anyways, that's my spiel, my story. Thanks.
And Julie.
Yeah, so I have been on the path as a teacher for about a year and just started doing lives in the last month. And I've just been so amazed by how much I love the community and how much I love to be in co-meditation. We are so oftentimes, in a meditation practice alone, and this just opens it up in such a profound way where we're together in this really energetic and even just physically being able to communicate with each other over the chat. And I just love the relationships that are being built through the teachers and the co-meditators and everyone being here, so supportive. I couldn't be more pleased with just the feeling of welcoming that is been part of this practice and this community. So thank you for that.
That's awesome. And Blossom, my name twin Violet.
Well, I discovered Insight Timer back in 2016. I think Insight Timer started in that year, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong.
So I think 2015. Yeah, it was right around. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very quiet back then.
Yeah.
There were no light. There were circles. Circles were sort of similar to the group. That's where I got to know so many of my amazing friends out there. And then I attended Joseph Nebel's lives when it started, and he was a pianist. And oh boy, up till that point, I had not played the piano for 37 years due to piano-related trauma. I couldn't touch the piano. I couldn't face the piano. I didn't want to have anything to do with piano. Piano was like a previous life thing. So, I attended his lives, and there was a calling to go back to play piano. So I started playing piano, and then I started doing Philip Wade's meditations, attended his lives. He was doing them regularly every week then. This was 2 years ago in January. And a few months after, I consistently do his infinite silence meditations every day. And in May, one morning, I don't know whether it was morning or afternoon, I went to my piano and I placed my fingers on the piano and it started moving. I was connecting to pure consciousness. Prior to that, I was in the limited mind, trying to work out what to play. I haven't played the piano for so long. I can't do this. What am I going to play? And all the stories. And all of a sudden, the fingers started moving as if I had no control. I just let them go, and they just play. And this is how I play now, and has changed my life. A journey that I never thought that I would be doing. Because I didn't want to have anything to do with piano. So it's just been amazing, and this community has. I can't say it, there's no words to describe this community, the amount of support that we all have, and life-changing. So this is Blossom 2.0. Also, because my name is Blossom, and my friend said also Blossom because they rhyme. So Awesome 1.0 is in my bedroom. She has done her job and she has retired, so I use her as practice. And Awesome 2.0 is new, and she made one appearance, and there were a lot of crackling noise. throughout the whole life last Friday. So I'm tweaking it, and she will be back to make a proper official appearance soon, as soon as I get this technology sorted. So great to see everyone. Thanks, Violet, for your invitation.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. And as for me, I can just echo what everybody has said with this, what Insight Timer has brought to me. I joined in 2017 or 18, not as a teacher, as a user, because I was working remotely, and I can totally relate to you, Greg. You know, it's me and the computer all day, and I wasn't talking to people, so I needed something in the background, and I was listening to meditations, and then the lives started, and I was like, wow, this is fascinating, because now I could actually interact with people while I'm working. Somehow I do that. And, you know, it just got to the point where I loved all the teachers, and I thought, I want to be part of that, but I don't cook. I don't teach yoga. I don't play piano. I don't have Greg and Peter's gifts. I was like, what am I going to do? And I was like, well, I have a lot of crystals and card decks, and I love them, and I'm learning a lot about them, and I'm going to just wing it. So I applied, and I came on, and they accepted me, and it was a way for me really to break out of my comfort zone. So definitely what it has given me is confidence, because I'm very much an introvert. I don't like being on camera, and you see me doing it now. It took a lot for me to get there. My first live, I think I was turning red inside. Fortunately, that wasn't showing, but I was petrified. And I just kept saying to myself, feel the fear and do it anyway, because that's my favorite quote. And that has gotten me through so many hurdles in my life. And the community was so supportive. The other teachers were so supportive that I thought, hey, I can do this. I can keep doing this. A year later, I am loving it. I think when I met Melanie at her house, because I first saw Melanie's lives in January, and I saw that she did this thing where she invites people who've never met to her house to just converse over dinner. And I thought, that sounds terrifying for this introvert, but I'm going to do it. So I went to her house, and she says to me, you know, you have a lot of followers. And I was like, do I? Like, how did that happen? Because I'm thinking, you know, again, I feel like, you know, musicians and cooks and all your talents. I'm like, I don't have that. So how is that happening? And I'm like, you know what? It's just an amazing place. It brings out the best in everybody. So as far as I'm concerned, that's what it's done for me. It's brought out those things that for so long I was suppressing. Oh, and I'm reading your comments. Thank you. And those comments keep me going all the time. Heidi writes, you're also inspirational. And when I hear stuff like that, it keeps me coming back. And because of that, and these teachers that I get to interact with, I just want more. So I keep thinking, how can I get more involved with the other teachers? And this is part of that. And I'm loving that. And I'm loving that Pete is with us, even though he's got stuff to do. You know, like that's what I love about Insight Timer. And some other amazing questions have gone rolling by. I know Carly had one. I want to scroll back. There you go. As a teacher and facilitator, how do you fill your own cup? That is a great question. And I'm going to start with you, Melanie. How do you fill your own cup?
I mean, I have always been excellent at doing that, to be honest, because I put myself first. And a lot of people are often really surprised to hear me say that, because I'm a huge giver. But when I was a kid, my mom, who had 6 kids, she was an engineer, and she was the wife of a business owner, and we had a farm. She said, if you don't fill your own cup first, you have nothing for anyone else. So I do meditate at least 40 minutes a day. And I try to figure out how to do fake yoga 20 minutes a day. If you guys know Em Griner on here, she does it. I love her. But also, I make sure that I have some sort of movement in my day. It's usually walking for me. And I just make sure that I spend some time doing something I love. It's building my creativity outside of cooking, because so much of my world is focused on cooking. I'm a cookbook author, so I write a lot. That I want to get out of my head, and I want to try to do other things that take me into a different space. And that's why I join a lot of the other lives, you know, whether it's doing art or listening to music. It's very beneficial for me just to sort of step. And then, of course, colleges are always amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Greg, how about you?
Yes, Chair.
How do you fill your own cup?
Well, believe it or not, I've been around the spiritual block for a long time. I've been meditating for over 36 years,
Wow.
which is hard to believe. Everybody thinks I'm younger than I am. But um, at this time in my life, I've taken the time to invest in myself, like in the morning. If I don't do my morning routine, and it doesn't have to be super strict or anything, but it's about, for me, it's about, lately I've been doing a morning walk, which has been super helpful for me. But I've been meditating in the morning for a long, long time, like I said. And the real main thing for me is getting myself into a place where I'm just ready for the day. And the interesting thing about my work, even though I do a lot with energy, I never have to, I don't know, I don't have the belief that I have to protect myself from anything. For example, I know that there are some practices, energetic practices, that encourage that. It's just never occurred to me, quite honestly. In my work, I don't actually give or take anything. I don't give energy. I don't take energy. I don't even move energy. I more guide people on how to use their own energy. So I'm really actually getting nothing but a positive effect, like when I do my lives. It does take energy, for me to host a live, for me to work with somebody. And so, yeah, I am tired after, but I go into such a wonderful state while I do it. In fact, I often forget what the whole live was about by the time we're done, that I just feel really, really good. So I guess it's a mixture of having a regular routine, like not just a spiritual routine, but a self-care routine, right? So things that I've learned about, I need to do this regularly, I need to brush my teeth after each meal. I mean, really little simple things, like drinking water regularly. These are just things that keep me going. And then just having the right perspective, I guess, on what I'm doing. Yeah, it's a really interesting, it's a good question. I like this question. And I have to echo, Violet, what you said earlier about just feel the fear and do it anyways. When I first went live, I was deathly afraid that my gift wouldn't work because I'd only ever done it one-to-one with somebody. I'd never done it in a group setting. And now here we are, and we're having fun on live streams with fellow teachers and 116 beautiful meditators.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
Pete,
Thomas.
do you want to go next, Pete, or do you want me to go to somebody else?
Good work.
Okay.
Well, I love this country too. I always try to start my day with my wife and make a cup of cacao and do a cacao ceremony together. It's so great for that heart opening in the morning. You put a smile on our face, and then that's what I don't know. You've heard of this, but chocolate is actually a great pineal gland decalcifier. So also continually decalcifying. Then try and get a meditation in every day. Right now, doing Blessings of the Energy Center series from Dr. Joe Dispenza. Loving that. And reading and trying to be regular with my Insight Timer teachers and telekinesis practice. And then more sort of like that tool and community and friends, and so doing, reaching out because it's not to reach out. So I need to make the effort to put something together and get friends together and go out and hold fun and do the things that make me happy. And like right now, just and inside out too with the family.
Nice. Excellent.
You have to jump out here and like maybe.
That's fine. Yeah, whenever you have to, that's fine. Yeah, I'm so happy that you joined us. It's awesome. Blossom, what do you do? Self-care.
Question. Well, I try to kind of avoid features is meditation is not just about sitting down doing deeper meditation. if you are aware that you are aware, what you do, where you go, at the moment when I'm talking to you, I'm aware that I'm talking to you. It's actually what they call the breathing meditation. So I try to do that as much as I can. Of course, I'm a human, so some days when I'm totally lost in what do you call it, in the automatic auto mode, where I go into my thoughts and I get, drawn into the thoughts, and then sometimes I'm aware I'm in the thoughts, and sometimes I just say, well, Margaret, I don't want to bring myself back to awareness. And I stay in the thought, and then get emotional, upset, or whatever. And then as soon as I'm aware that, I was doing that, I'm back to the pure awareness of myself, and I just burst into laughter. So, it's just, it's been a journey. I still totally procrastinate a lot of times, and I must admit I go on devices way too much. There are few, habits that I'm trying to correct, including going to bed early. There's so much going on, same with everybody. So that's what I'm trying to do every day. Sometimes when I don't feel like being down to meditation, I play the piano, because when I play the piano, I'm totally meditating when I'm playing, because I'm all day in the present moment. There's no thoughts there. Thoughts don't, I don't block the thoughts. I just let them be. Like the clouds, like the sky, watching the clouds and the storm and everything else. The thoughts are there. I just play the piano, and it's absolute silence. It's just amazing. So, it's an amazing journey. That's what I do basically every day. Still working on, quite a few things. A lot of shadow work that I still need to do from piano-related trauma. It's still ongoing. It's not easy. My mom is not here, so I'll say that I'm still dealing a lot with my mom. I haven't been speaking to her since November of the year before last. So, she doesn't understand what is happening. I try to be open with her. When I visited my parents in 2018, sorry, Mama, for saying this thing authentic here. I opened up to her and said, Mom, anxiety, and what I got was judgment, saying how I was weak, and and the rest of it, she just wasn't ready to listen. So I admit that, that who she is, I understand that who she is. She had gone through a lot in her life. I don't expect her to understand what I'm going through. It's explained, and she wasn't ready to listen. And, that's fine with me. But at this point in time, I'm not ready to bring her up and talk to her, because I understand that how she is, and also being a mom, she always wants to tell me what to do, and I'm just not in the frame of mind to listen, because to me it's all criticism. At one point I was ready to I was open to that, shadow work, and a few words from her, I'm back in my old self again. So,
And it's good that you know that, it's good that you realize that, and that you protect your energy. I think it's important for all of us as teachers and people, to protect your energy. So Julie, what do you do for self-care?
I was thinking about what fills my cup, and you may all agree, when I have done these new Insight Timer Lives that I started, afterwards, I am so energized. It feels like
Yes.
being able to connect and to teach and to share love is alive for me. So that's one thing that I've really noticed. And I still find walking to be medicine. So that just rhythmic walking, whether it's by myself or with my dog or with a friend, it keeps really helping me fill my cup. I think that singing does it for me. I love to sing. My husband plays guitar, and if he'll find a tune that I know, I love to sing along with him. And then meditation for sure. Sitting has been part of my life for 20 years, and so that kind of really settling and finding that inner stillness to clear space, to be able to be present for other people and for myself. So those would be what my top specifically.
I love that. And I love what you said because I feel the same way. I feel like being here for me is a huge part of my self-care because I work 8 hours a day at my computer doing something completely different and, you know, not really interacting. So for me to be here and interact with people definitely fills me. And I can relate to what you said, Greg, because afterwards, sometimes I do feel I'm energized, but I'm tired. Like I feel like I need a nap. And that's what I do. I go sit in front of the TV for a little while and I chill out and I decompress and, you know, I'll watch some series or something on TV and I'm good. But definitely in the morning, I have a routine as well. I have a playlist of Insight Timer meditations that I listen to. I have a journal I keep by my bed. It's the first thing I do in the morning. And I think that routine that I have it keeps me from feeling drained because in my journal, if something's bothering me, I'll write about it. If I've had a weird dream, I'll write about that. Or I script my day, which is something that I love to do. So I feel like over the past few years from being on Insight Timer, I've developed a self-care routine that has helped me everywhere. You know, it's helped me with work because sometimes my job gets a little, I can't say stressful because I have an amazing boss. I work remotely. I've got no coworkers. I've got the dog. That's about it. And my husband who comes home after work. So I don't have that kind of stress, but sometimes I'm working on something and I'm like, I can't figure this out. It's getting, you know, a little overwhelming and I can just walk outside and listen to a meditation and come back in and I'm renewed. I'm like a different person. And sometimes that's all I need to just get me back on track. So I love that question, Carly. That was a great question. Carly says she's got to go. The family's awake. All right. Next time for sure. Next time. Yeah, we're going to plan one on a weekend so we can get a better coverage of all our different time zones, because that's the wonderful thing about being here is we have so many people in so many different time zones. But I'm going to scroll back because I know there were a few more questions. If anybody had a question and we missed it, just pop it in again. But I am going to scroll back.
All great question.
Yeah, Jessica did have a good question there.
What is an experience with an Insight Timer student that impacted you the most?
That's awesome. That's a good question. Who wants to field that one first? Because that one I'm going to have to think about.
I've got one that comes to mind. If you want, I can
Yes.
go if you want.
Yes.
So she's actually here. Hi, Peta. So Peta's one of my longtime attendees, longtime participants in my lives, and we have a very interesting connection. Yes, there you are, dear. So there was a. I don't exactly know how to describe this, and I'll hold back on details of this. I can't remember them super tightly, but it seems like as of late in the last few months, every time I do a reading for Peta, when I describe something, she's then able to see the exact same thing, and sometimes, even though I don't give it details because she's an artist, she sees it like in color and she sees the shapes. So there was this one time when I was talking about a new group of, I guess they're guides, a new group that I call the Council of Seven or the Circle of Seven, who have come into my field, I guess, in the last few months and have been moving around. And I was describing how I was feeling them as a new presence energetically. And then Peta sent me an email with a picture that she had drawn during the live. I don't know, Peta, what did you draw that from? or with, like what. And I swear to God, the picture she drew looked exactly like what I was feeling. And so ever since then, we've talked a little bit back and forth. Pencil color, okay, yeah. And I've communicated with her about them changing. So now, ever since then, we have this very interesting, like, if I say it, see it, or feel it, she can draw it, kind of a thing. So that's been really quite fascinating for me. And then just last week, there was the reading I was doing for somebody else who's also in the room today, not of the teachers, but of the attendees. And this person was able to transform a really very self-critical energy into kind of a healing energy. And it was really, it was really moving, and I was really touched. And ever since then, I've had a deeper concern for how that process is unfolding for them. So it's just little things like that. I call myself a champion of other people's ahas. So when somebody has a breakthrough or an insight or has some healing or lets go of something or has a shift, I love celebrating it because we're all doing it together. We're all growing together. We're all healing and we're all celebrating. And it's just, for me, that's just super.
Thomas is asking if it was him, Greg.
Yes, Thomas, it was you. I knew I could mention what happened with Peter, but I wasn't sure if I could mention it was you, Tom. Yeah, Thomas, it was profound. For me, it was profound and really powerful.
Nice. Melanie, do you have an example there you want to share with us?
You know, very similar to Greg, when I get feedback from students, so there's only 5 students that I get very consistent feedback from how they felt horrible about themselves for not feeling successful, you know, in their cooking. And that sort of, you know, if you've ever watched my lives, you know that I drew a lot of parallels between cooking and life. Cooking can really help you with calm and confidence and creativity and curiosity. But those are things that we want to develop in our lives as well. And I just felt so blessed to hear from people that it helps them grow, not only in the kitchen, but as humans as well. And, you know, that's my life's work. I'm meant to be a teacher. Well, I would not be alive if I weren't teaching, because it's what I'm meant to be. So when I hear that feedback, it makes me feel very fortunate that I'm able to do what I'm meant to do. So thank you guys for always giving me that feedback.
And what about you, Pete? Do you want to share?
Yeah. We're jumping off.
I know you have to go soon.
Question. Mine's this might sound insignificant, but it was really beautiful for me to hear. So I'm teaching telekinesis, something really elusive. Not very many people even know that it's a real thing, or if they've heard about it, because it's real at all. So for somebody to get a glimpse of that reality and then to feel that ability and forming a relationship is really meaningful. So one of the people that explains a lot of my lives, Jeffrey, just a little while ago shared that he could feel it, that subtle, it's really, really subtle when you start to move matter outside of your body. But he was just forming a relationship with it, and I love it. Oh, I'm so proud of him for keeping up the practice, and I can't wait to have that experience with more people.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Violet. It's a fun. I hope to join you next night.
Yes,
With
absolutely.
Greg and Willie and Blossom.
Thank you. Enjoy your time with your family. Thank you.
Extraordinary. Because who won?
And Blossom, do you want to share an experience?
This is what Ray Martin called the future of someone creature of the ones.
Mostly, Glenn, for the city, it was Related to my track, the piano lounge, where I was trying to create, I named the music piano lounge once because I wanted to create the piano lounge atmosphere. And I wasn't sure if I was, I was able to do that. And Grace in the review of my track said that I can't remember your exact words, and you were saying something like, it brought you back to the time where you went to a piano bar nearby, and
That's right.
to back to that atmosphere. So yeah, that really touched me because that was the whole point of that particular track, and that really moved me because I just didn't know that my music could do that. You know, the coming over to this side of the screen to play piano, and I didn't know I could have this sort of impact. I wasn't even thinking about anything else except I'm going to share my music with everybody, and that's it. I wasn't trying to do anything, wasn't trying to teach anything, I wasn't trying to be anything apart from I'm presenting you my music, and you listen to it whether you enjoy it or you don't, and full stop, you know. I didn't think anything else, and but from the feedback I got from my many friends out there, I'm just amazed that, wow, you know, I got amazing review. It's just amazing. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for writing that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you for that experience. Because it really, I used to walk to a local hotel when I lived in Los Angeles and just hang out and listen to the piano and watch people. And it really felt like.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. And Julie, what do you have to share?
So I'm pretty new to meeting Wednesdays in real life, but what I
You know, interestingly enough, I think we all are, right? We're all about a year, probably.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I've only been doing lives for maybe
Okay. Even you.
and what I have experienced is when people buy to on my profile page, and I'll see parents because they teach. This is for kids. I'll take the teachings of IRES and translate them down into adventure stories or bedtime stories. So parents will write in and say, you know, this really was the perfect thing for me, or they love your voice, or, you know, just really kind words from parents in response to the recording. So that's what I would say has been really informative.
Yeah, I've had similar experiences with where people have, you know, every time someone says that they want to become a teacher, they want to do something, but they're scared, I always say, message me, because I am the poster child of being afraid of being on camera, of talking to people. So I have gotten to know certain people, and I've gotten emails, and I've told them, hey, this is how you can become a teacher, and, you know, this is how you do a live. And I love to share my experiences, because I'm like, if anybody was petrified, it was absolutely me. Like, I was the last person I would have ever thought. If you had told me 2 years ago I would have been doing this, I would have laughed at you. So I love when I get emails from people who are like, you know, you've inspired me, you've encouraged me, because I'm like, you know, there was a time in my life where I had people inspiring and encouraging me, and to know that I can pay that forward, like, that's the greatest gift. Like, that just makes it all worthwhile for me. It makes me so happy. So that's definitely, for me, the experience. Cecilia, that I nudged you to become a teacher. I nudge a lot of people to become a teacher. Some of you listen, and some of you are like, yeah, I'm still waiting. I love it. And I love helping people. I love helping people with technology, as you know, because I love technology. And I love just in general being able to encourage people, because I feel like when you do something like this that you thought was so hard, it gives you so much confidence. It's given me so much confidence, you know, and I've gone out and I've gotten to know people like Melanie, who I would not have ever met had I not said to myself, I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to go to her house by myself and just see what happens. And I made an amazing friends from that experience. So it's so worth it to me to take those kinds of chances. Seeds, absolutely. About an hour apart.
Wow.
Yeah. Very close. Yeah.
Comparatively, when you consider where everyone.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I was thrilled because, she did those dinners where she invited 6 people that didn't know each other. So I met her and a bunch of other people that were amazing. And I was like, what a great experience to go out and just meet new people. And that's what Insight Timer does for me and for a lot of us. You get to know so many people. Some of them you meet in person and some you just get to know online. But, eventually you never know. You may get to meet them in person as well. Hammy Zoo, let's see I thought you had a question. Okay, you're driving and listening. I want to scroll back because did anybody else see any other questions? Because I thought I saw some questions fly by.
Yes, I think that's another one. I think we get that.
Nope.
I'm going to say that one thing I love is because I'm not great at technology is that when there's some little glitch, everybody sends me all the love from the community and they're so patient. I get it.
Yes.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, even just when we started the live and I was trying to figure out how to reframe because I've never done a live with this many people. I'm like, how do I get everybody in? How do I normally I'd be terrified to be messing up in front of everybody, but I was not at all. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it and I'm going to get it and I'll figure it out. And I know from past experiences that everybody is very patient and very forgiving. There've been times when the volume was off or the camera or whatever, or like when Melanie and I were doing a live and I almost shut the whole thing down. And people are very patient, very forgiving here, which is awesome.
And no, that's why most of typing noises. And I said to everyone, like in this live session, and everyone saying, no, keep going, and I listened to the replay, and the whole talk, the entire live session, and typing noises, and everyone was still there. And also, I want to say, Insight Timer must be the only place where you can do live streaming. In the middle of live streaming, you can go to the bathroom. So that if I were to do like something else, which I really didn't know to do that, but so one teacher to do that, but what a relief. Really, it's amazing that you know, when you, how full you are, and if you need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. If you need to drink water, if you need to go to the bathroom, we should do those things.
Perfect examples of self-care right there.
Absolutely. I just saw Jason had a question. Any good recommendations for a meditation retreat? That's what led him to the app. Looking to attend a 7-10 silent retreat. I'm not sure what that is. If anybody. Oh.
Jason, drop me a line. My brother goes to, and I saw that you're in Pennsylvania. My brother goes to some silent retreats in the south of New York somewhere. I don't know where it is. But drop me a line through Insight Timer, Jason, and I will try to get that info for you. Yeah, I don't know if they might be within a certain discipline or like a certain type of meditation teaching. I don't know. I'll get the info for you. You can be a bit.
Oh, is that the name of the place Melanie just typed in? Kadampa?
That's what Brady shared, but I know my friend has been to that one.
Yeah, there's it. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say there's also one in Virginia, but I don't know where you are in CA, but there's one in Charlottesville.
You're looking to go deep. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty around. I just don't know them myself, but I know my brother's been to some because he loves those.
I was going to say Kripalu's not far from me. I wonder if they do them. Yeah.
Yeah, they might.
I've only seen 3 to 5.
Oh, you'll real long one. My brother's been done week-long ones, weekend ones. Something is. I keep hearing the word spring, or something spring, or brook, or something. I'll get it for you.
Online, I'm sure that's not what you're looking for, but in Brown, I've done a 5-day study.
I love what Danny just said. He says, Greg, I've never connected this, but your voice sounds just like the dad on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, my voice changes a lot. I don't know if that's a compliment, but I'll say thank you, Danny.
It's funny that you say that because my voice changes a lot too. There's times when I have recorded my lives and I'm like, oh gosh, I sound so hoarse. Was I talking too much, you know? So I can relate to that. I'm just scrolling back to see if I missed anything.
You know, I have another story related to the previous question.
Absolutely, share,
It's
please.
from student, and I'm inspired to share it because the synchronicity is kind of the theme of the story. And so, as a lot of you know, for the last 12 years, was living, she's dead now, so I was living with an elderly woman who was my mom's best friend. She just died in May. She got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in early February, and I went into a massive panic because after 12 years, I realized that that time was closed and I didn't know where I would let go. And I've been spending probably the last 15, 20 years looking for a place to call home, like the right climate, the right environment, the right spiritual community, just everything that I was looking for. And the week after we found out she had cancer, I was in such a mess that one of my students who I'd become friends with, she lives in Germany. I told her what was going on. She told her other friend who also lives in Germany, who then she wrote me through Facebook Messenger and asked how I was. And she said, I heard the news, and you're okay, what's going on? And so I just started sharing with her. And then she invited me to move with the 3 of them to an island in Europe that they're planning on moving to. And I was like, I'd never heard of this. And when I looked it up, everything started resonating, and I just got all these great vibes. And the more and more I looked into it from the different ways that I used to evaluate whether I would go somewhere, either travel or move, I just got really, really excited. And so out of this tragedy and brand new friends here through the lives, like this whole new thing is forming. And I decided that's where I want to live. That's where I want to land and settle. And that wouldn't have happened had I not gotten all scared last year about whether I could share on Insight Timer and then, become a teacher and then go live. And then, it's not miraculous, it's whatever, it's God-given, it's divine, whatever. Them becoming regular followers of my lives back at that time. And yeah, so you just really never know. I always talk about trying to keep an open heart because you just never know what's going to happen. And it's just like your story, Violet, is meeting Melanie, and now you guys are super close. And I love when you do lives together. It's so much fun. So it fascinates me how things can unfold without our doing. Really, that's the big part. Without our doing, we're just showing up. And I don't mean our as in teachers. I mean all of us, everybody. Everybody's here, just showing up. So,
That's an awesome story. Aren't you moving this weekend?
tomorrow night,
Tomorrow.
I'm training.
Like where you're going. You're going.
It's growing, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is awesome. Melinda says she didn't realize how you ended up picking where you. Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's an incredible story.
Well, and even that, I'm not ready financially to move to the island that we were moving to. That's probably going to be in the fall or even later. And I didn't have a place to go when Marty died. A buddy in Iowa said I could live with him, but then his mom took terminally ill, so that room got filled. And then that very next night, my buddy in Utah said he talked to his wife, and they invited me to come with them. And it ends up that astrologically, it's better for me in Utah than it is in Iowa.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, it's just the synchronicities and that's the other word, I'm missing the word. I don't know, whatever. Just the beauty of it all.
It absolutely is. I feel like these things were just meant to be. They just fell into place. Yes.
Serendipity.
Yes.
Thank you, Julie.
No,
That was the other word. Synchronicity, serendipity.
That is a great way. Does anybody have any questions? Any other questions they want to throw out there? I saw a lot of stuff going on in the chat with recipes and cooking. And I love that too. I love being on lives, and the teacher might be doing one thing and there's a whole bunch of conversations going on in the background. I'm always involved in that. I love that. One of the things I figured we could tell the ones who are here who may or may not know you is like, what do you have coming up? When is your next live? Are you going to be jumping right into doing more lives once you get there? Or are you going to take a break? What are you doing, Greg?
My last live from this location is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Wow.
And so we're doing energy readings and hopefully have a small little send-off party. So I'm looking forward to that. And then because of the 2-hour time difference, I haven't really figured out when I'm going to do lives again. I'd like to try to maintain the same relative time for everybody so they don't have to make adjustments. But I don't know, because I'm having to find a job as well online, like what you're doing remote work. I have no idea what effect is going to happen on my schedule. So I'll probably go live again next week on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. But I'm going to be in a whole new place with people I've never physically met. So I don't know what the energy will be.
And speaking of remote work, by the way, I applied for 2 jobs that I did not think I was qualified for, and both of them offered me the job, which is how I have the job that I do now. So my recommendation to everybody is, no matter what it is, just apply. What's the worst that can happen? I said to myself, they'll say no, that's all. And when they both interviewed me and both offered me the job, I still tell people I don't know how I do what I do. I'm a data analyst, by the way. I write code, and that was never in my wheelhouse of expertise. It was never like my goal to do this, and somehow I fell into it, and I love it. So when it comes to looking for a job, go for it. So, Julie, do you want to tell us what you have coming up since you are new to the lives?
I have a live on Wednesday next week at 12:30 for Wednesday. It's a good time for a little nap or business in Europe, and it's going to be on body and butt centering. So really exploring sensation with curiosity and spaciousness. So I like to make the differentiation between like a body scan and body sensing. So even the word scan can feel a little mechanical, seeking. And this body sensing is much more just luscious and kind. And we're just feeling our way through the body and through the breath. And it's really restorative.
Sorry, I was doing the double conversation here. And Blossom, I know you're taking a little break. Let me know, when are you going to be doing your next live?
I don't want to say next week yet. Just need to have a few more tests to make sure they're running very well. And but I do have a 5-minute morning piano meditation track. I just uploaded last night, and I think it might take 2 weeks or more. I'm not sure. So that is coming. So I plan to record a few more, and I also have a few more tracks from the old piano that I did during my lives that I may upload. So I was going to keep myself busy. I just want to say something about those of you who are thinking of maybe becoming a teacher. I just want to say that from my personal experience, because there's so many teachers on Insight Timer, the most important thing that is to make yourself how do I say this, to join as many lives as you can, join the group, and get to know as many teachers as you can. Because if you just apply to be a teacher and you don't know anyone on Insight Timer, and it's the only way to get your content out there is to have someone following you. But if they don't know who you are kind of lost in the big ocean. So if you're thinking about maybe becoming a teacher, in the process of thinking, get to know as many friends as you can in this community. You will get to know them, chat with them during the night.
And I want to add in there, Blossom, message one of us, because we all belong to a teachers group, and we are more than happy to invite people that want to become a teacher, because we give each other a lot of support and a lot of tips and a lot of information. So that's a great point, Blossom. I love that.
And Blossom in particular, I forget to do this sometimes, but you are wonderful, because if you see another teacher in your life, you give them props. You say, check these people out. And I think that cross support is just so helpful. So Blossom, you seem to almost always remember to do that. And I feel it from a place of appreciation. So I love that you do that. But who would have tried?
I was going to say, I do that as well. I think that's so important for us to support each other. And I know Melanie does it. I've not seen you yet, Julie, but I know that a lot of us do it. And it's a big deal. And it really is. It's nice to support one another. Melanie, I was going to say, let us know what you've got coming up. You've got like a live coming up every day. I know you've booked yourself.
Yeah, you're at home, do a live every day.
I thought it was a good idea.
No, it's a great idea because I have some downtime for a week. So I'm doing one tomorrow, which I'm super excited about because tomorrow is the strawberry full moon. And strawberries are very abundant, and I'm going to be doing a lot with strawberries. I'm going to do pickled strawberries.
She did strawberry cheesecake. No, I'm sorry, chocolate no bake cheesecake this morning, and I am craving it so bad now.
And that's tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Same time as Greg, same time as M. So I'm like, why have we choosing 4 p.m. tomorrow? I want to go to the other ones. On Saturday, I'm doing a mindful cooking from garden to table. So I'm going to be using a lot of things from my garden to make a pesto, and then I'm going to be making handmade pasta. So if you haven't seen my lives before, a lot of my inspiration comes from my garden, but also so many people say like, oh, I'd love to learn, and whatever that is. And then that I usually add in. And then I haven't scheduled my one for next week, but then the following Sunday, I'm doing a chilled avocado cucumber soup. And then the 30th, I'm doing what's called a vegetable tian. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's a very cool savory dish that you can do with squash or eggplant, and they sit upright. And you put in herbs, and you can do cheese and all the beautiful things.
You're killing me now. Oh, it sounds so good.
Let me tell you, I think that's it's funny how she and I have become such good friends, because she's an amazing cook and I am a total non-cook. And I am at every single live she does, and I drool. And I've actually started playing with the idea of cooking here and there, which my husband's going to like faint, because I cook once, maybe twice a year. That's about it. So she did the other day smashed potatoes with smoked salmon. And that day I went out to brunch because it was Father's Day, and I ordered smoked salmon. However, I went shopping, I bought the ingredients, and I'm going to make it myself. So that's going to be huge. The fire department is already on hold for me. So get ready.
Well, you're going to like this. When I met my husband, I in question, I was cooking this curry, and I did use a recipe, and I've seen recipes with herb that looks like art. And has, sorry?
I didn't hear what you said. The herb that looks like what?
Like a tree bark from a tree. What's it called? Skip my mind.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, thank you.
Oh, cinnamon. Yeah.
I've never used cinnamon, and I tried to impress him, and I cooked this curry dish, and I put 2 or 3 full sticks of cinnamon
Oh no.
in the curry, and I did taste it. I served it to him, and I said, "Oh, how did that taste?" He said, "Oh, very nice. Thank you very much." And I tried it afterwards, like, oh, goodness me.
I saw a couple of comments flying by about how they're holding me accountable for cooking. So I have to give a little disclaimer right now. My household AC is on the fritz. I am sitting here with two portable fans and very loud fans, which I'm glad you can't hear them. But it's like 80 degrees in the house. So if I don't cook it this weekend, that would be the only reason why. I have a little issue with the boiling of the potatoes. I don't want to heat up the house. Melanie told me I have to boil the potatoes. I want to know, can I roast them maybe? You know, there was a suggestion about getting roasted potatoes. One way or another, I'm going to make it happen. Maybe I'll cook it early in the morning when it's really cool. Because I went up to the bedroom earlier and it was 84 degrees up there. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing anything in this heat inside the house. They're supposed to be fixing it on Tuesday, but I do want to make boiled potatoes late at night. Yeah. I just don't want to warm anything up, but that's it though. It's just, I know. Yeah, I know, Danny, I know. And Danny has a great question, by the way. I copied your question, Danny. I love it, no excuses. Danny wants to know the hardest, most enjoyable thing about being a teacher. Real advice for those out there who are thinking about becoming a teacher. I thought that was a great question. So I'm not going to put pressure on anybody to answer first, but if one of you wants to answer first, jump right in. Hardest, most enjoyable thing about being a teacher.
For me, initially, it was getting to good experience with the editing of stuff. You know, so when you're recording, the recording part takes a little bit of, you know, understanding the process, but then the editing, I think, is a little bit more challenging. So the part two was the biggest part. To get through the text and the understanding the best practices for recording and editing. And then the most enjoyable part is seeing people watching, you know, giving comments and knowing that people are enjoying your content.
Definitely. Does anybody else want to throw something in there? I agree with you. Definitely for me, the recording tracks, it initially for me was like terrifying because I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't know what kind of track I was going to create. And quite frankly, I think my first couple of tracks were horrible. But again, this kind community left me these beautiful, encouraging reviews. And I was like, okay, I can keep doing this. And as I've done more, I've gotten better. But I'm at the point where if anyone listens to like those first two scripting tracks I made, I'm like, oh God, I'm so embarrassed because they're horrible. But again, people are so nice. It's so awesome. And like you said, the most enjoyable part are the compliments. You know, when someone validates you by telling you that something you put out there moved them or spoke to them or helped them in any way, that to me makes it all worthwhile. Makes the embarrassment of putting out a horrible track, of feeling like, oh gosh, I'm, you know, like, who's going to listen to this? Or they're going to think it's terrible. It makes it all worthwhile. And Melanie, what were you going to say?
I'm a lot more used to it now, but if you've seen a live, you know, I'm very spontaneous. I definitely say what's on my mind and kind of getting used to the parameters of what we can and cannot say on Insight Timer. That's been a little bit tricky for me. So sometimes when people ask questions and I'm like, you need to look at my profile or because we're not supposed to make recommendations and a lot of people ask me for recommendations. So that's why sometimes you might see me hesitating a little bit or like today in a live, someone said, what's your website? And you know, that's information that we're not supposed to directly share. So that's why it might feel like, for me, it feels like I'm being not direct because I'm such a direct person that I'm not used to that sort of living by rules. And I actually hate rules. If you know me, you know that. And so it's been a little bit of a struggle. But the
And you
best
handle it very well, by the way.
part is connecting with everyone and having this really beautiful community. And, you know, I have a group and I just formed it sort of spontaneously. And then I joined the teacher group and people were like, oh no, a lot of people aren't really active in groups, but I've had such a beautiful experience in my group. And it's great because I post the recipes in there, but I feel like we're really connected in this group, which I love.
And your group has 200 people in it, like really quickly, which that blows me away to see how fast. And it just goes to show that what you're doing really resonates, you know, like like as a teacher, that's such incredible validation to know that you're resonating with people like that. Does anybody else want to throw in?
Yeah, sure. I have to echo what Melanie said. At first, I was thinking the hardest thing for me was managing my expectations. Like it's, because for me, this is a calling and a business. So it's difficult for me sometimes when I go into a live and I'm not centered or grounded, or when I'm worrying about money or something like that. And really, what I keep coming back to that helps me get out of that challenge is just that I'm doing this because I love it and because it's fun. So when I bring the love element in, and particularly bring the fun in, because for those who know me, I'm a big goofball, and I just like to have a good time. But what Melanie said about the challenge of Insight Timer says that we shouldn't promote ourselves. But that feels really difficult to me because I get the reason why. They want to keep the community pure. They don't want, they made a decision on a deep philosophical level that they didn't want the base of meditators to be monetized like so many other apps. And yet, if I'm doing something and I've built a community here, it's just natural for me to want to include everybody. So it feels very stifling for me. So that on that level, that's been really difficult for me. But then also related to that is I don't think that the developers have designed the teacher profile pages in a way that makes things like the groups or the one link we're allowed to share easy to find. And so as much as Insight Timer, I'm not dumping on Insight Timer. I'm just saying this is something they can improve on.
I agree.
Because they have a huge community focus. And yet there's a few things that don't necessarily help grow those communities. And I don't know if it's true. You guys in chat, you should let me know. But I feel like it's very difficult for folks to find where our group is on our profile and where our one allowed link is. And I don't know. Maybe it's by design. The joy, the blessing, Danny. I love that you did like two sides of the same coin in this question, Danny. It's really just every time I show up, and even if I'm, like my friend died, I showed up and I cried for 20, 30 minutes. I didn't like bawl my eyes out and not say anything. I was still, I had a live. I didn't want to cancel it. I had to cancel a number of them. But what's beautiful for me is just how much love there is here. And when I leave a live, like I was doing Wednesday and Friday lives, and then come Sunday or Monday, I felt like I was missing something. And so I wanted to add more lives because what I was missing, it wasn't really like super deep missing, but I missed the connection with everybody. I missed that community aspect. And all I really want to do is build my community. Yeah, I want to build my business, but I want to reach as many people as I possibly can someday, or continually. So those are the main ups and downs for me. But the up totally outweighs any of the downs, quite honestly, because it fills my heart to be of service and to. I mean, this is coming from somebody who's always I'm 60, just for anybody knows, but I've spent the vast majority of my life, over 30 years, wondering I'm almost going to swear here, but how the F I fit in the world. I'm basically a misfit.
I think a lot of us are.
I didn't think I had anything to share with anybody. I knew I had skills and I knew I was quote unquote gifted with certain things, but I didn't think, I was just a whatever person in my mind for a long time, even though I was really good at the work that I used to do. But now it's like, I feel a deep connection with my calling. And by saying yes to that, my gifts are evolving and expanding, and like in ways that like sometimes scare me and shock me and challenge me. And so now that I'm a teacher on Insight Timer, I get to show up and practice new things and challenge myself. And it's not as scary because the first live is the scariest one. Everything after that is almost like downhill. But the first live, oh my God, that's a really scary one. But it's so beautiful. Echoing again what Violet said about just how supportive and how loving and how how much slack you guys cut us, because we're all here looking for the same thing, really, is to deepen that connection and that community. Yeah, the misfit community. I love that, Gene. Yeah. No,
And I was afraid to become a teacher because I thought I had to be perfect. I have to know what I'm going to do. I have to know everything. So what you said is so true.
I'm not certified in anything. By the way,
Me neither.
you don't need certifications to be a teacher of anything. You just need passion. You just need a love for
Me
it.
neither.
You just need to even believe in yourself just an iota.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe
Yes.
yourself 100%.
Right there. Just a little. Just a little. Exactly. Yes. Love that. I was going to say something and I totally lost my train of thought on that one. But oh, you were talking about misfits, and I said, and you know what? I was thinking what's amazing to me, because I know we've all felt that way, is that you come to this community and you become a part of it, and you lose that image of yourself as a misfit. Like I don't see myself as like this shy, quiet person like I used to. So it's amazing to come here and find people like you, and then realize, you know what? I'm normal. I don't have to categorize myself as something. I'm normal. We're all misfits.
I agree with what everyone is saying, you know. Before I start live, when I got the calling, I had no idea what I was going to do, what I was going to say. I mean, apart from playing piano, I was worried about, gee, in between playing the piano, what am I going to say? You know, like all these eyes are staring at me, even though I can't see them. I know I was having all this worry and anxiety. And when I saw Judy Unger, Unger, she's a singer musician on Inside Timer. She's a great friend. When I went to her live, and she was being so authentic and when I watched her doing live, and I said to myself, wow, I don't need to worry about anything, because this is a wonderful community and they accept you, you know, because you are you. We can only do what we do, you know. So that's what I learned. And initially I was, you know, this is a whole journey. You don't have to be perfect to start. You don't have to start alive and know how to work all the technology and know what to say. And I had no clue what I was going to do. And initially I was judging myself and worrying
And who, I'm curious, who encouraged you? Because I feel like for all of us, somebody probably encouraged you. Who encouraged you?
let me write down her name, Judy Unger.
Oh, I did write down her name. That's right. You mentioned Judy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. The way she does her life, she's very authentic.
Yes. She's amazing.
She's amazing, and she says sometimes, "Oh, I don't have time to practice, so I'm going to use this live session as a practice
Yes.
session." You know, after attending her live, I said to myself, "Wow, I don't have to try to put up this image that I've got it all sorted. You know, watch me, I've got this all sorted. This is how you should be doing live." After I watched her, attend her live, I thought, "Wow, I can only be me, what I can do best." And yeah, so when I do the lives, if I don't know what to say, I'll tell everyone, "Sorry, I don't know what to say at this moment." And I look at the chat, and what everyone says in the chat prompted me to go into saying something else and just absolutely be in the moment. And if you don't know what to say, just say, "I don't know what to say," and that's perfectly fine. And after the first few lives, I got more used to the camera and where to look, what to press, what.
And you know, I thought your advice to watch other lives and get to know other teachers, I thought that was great, because I would see other teachers and, you know, they weren't always perfect. They'd make mistakes and they would laugh about it. And I thought, okay, they're normal people. I can do this. You know, we make mistakes. It's okay. It wouldn't be the end of the world. So I thought that was great advice that you gave.
Exactly. I laugh at myself too. Sometimes I'll say something and I just burst out laughing because Sometimes I say things I shouldn't say, and everything's perfectly all right. We just be in the moment and do whatever we need to do. We show up and just be ourselves. Just relax and don't put up too much expectation that we have to do the best. We do what we do best at that particular moment. Now I try not to have an expectation that is too high. It's best not to have an expectation. Just go with the flow, go with the moment. And because I know if I have an expectation that is that high, I'm likely to be disappointed that I don't get there. So I just drop all the expectation and just enjoy the moment, absolutely go with the flow, and whatever comes, I've done a live that is 2 hours, and the longest is 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I didn't even think you could go that. I didn't know you could go that long. Wow. I want to answer. Priyanka has a great question. I want to address it. I didn't want it to go away. She's asking, is this a normal thing, the group lives? No, this is not a normal thing. Usually the lives are one person. Occasionally someone will do two people together. I did a live with Melanie and I loved interacting with all the other teachers. And I said to Melanie after that live, I said, I kind of got this idea. I would love to do a group live with a bunch of teachers, anybody who wants to come with us, where we can kind of do a Q&A or just, whatever, just kind of go with the flow. Had no plan. Once again, that's how I am. I don't plan anything. I just I say I fly by the seat of my pants. So I was like, let's just see how it goes. And as far as I'm concerned, it's going great. So I'm loving it. So thank you for that question. And
fun. It's really fun.
Definitely don't feel pressure. If you're a new teacher, don't think you need to do this or you need to know all the technology. No, you don't. Absolutely not.
Yeah. In fact, I like what you mentioned about not having a plan. I don't plan my lives either out. I might come up with an idea for a starting meditation, or there might be a theme or a topic that just sort of comes through intuitively. And I haven't really planned I planned my first two tracks. And it's interesting. I kind of dislike those more than my later tracks, because my later tracks were just, I was in the moment, I was recording and it came out. So, and there's nothing wrong with having a plan, but I would just say, if you are thinking about being a teacher, know yourself. Do you function best with a plan? Or are you more like Violet and I, where we're more comfortable going by the seat of our pants? Melanie probably has to have a smidge of a plan because she needs cooking materials and she has to pick a recipe. So there's a flow and an ebb for that, right? But the trick with even having a plan is having flexibility and relax around it, right? Because somebody just reading a script, while it might be great information, and some people might connect with that, they're just reading a script. So, which is fine too. If that's where people start, that's fine too, I guess. As I say that, I realize I was judging a little bit there, but not a lot, because that's fine too.
Exactly. And I know there's a lot of people that like to plan ahead, and that's fine. It just, for me, would make me too anxious, because now I'm thinking I've got to stick to whatever I planned, and I have a hard time just being spontaneous if I plan too much, which is crazy. I was like that in school too. Like I was the kid that was studying the night before the exam, and I got great grades. Why can't I say that? I got really good grades. And if I plan ahead, I just didn't. I don't, even with work now, I don't function well. If I have a project coming up in a couple of weeks, I'm not the one who's going to start it now. I'm going to be working on it on that last week, and I'm going to bang it out, and it's going to be amazing. And that's how I function, but that's not how everybody functions. So you should definitely, what Greg said, know how you work best and do that. Yeah, exactly. Do it your own way. Yeah.
Importantly, have fun. Enjoy what you do.
Be you, be authentic. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just reading through the comments. I know we've, that's very sweet of you. What can we do to help teachers? I'm going to let the rest of you answer that question, because I think that's a great question. I got to tell you, honestly, for me, because I know a lot of the teachers here have their own business and I don't. I work full time. This is what I do for fun and I love it. So I know a lot of teachers are trying to build their businesses and I think that's a great question and I'm going to let the rest of you field that one. Anybody who wants to start, what can they do to help the teachers?
I'm happy to start because I feel like I actually addressed this in live. You know, it's a conversation I think that we've had in our teacher groups. Sometimes teachers feel uncomfortable asking for financial donations. As someone who is a business owner, I don't, but also I understand that not everyone can do that. And so I feel like other ways to support me, and I think many teachers, is obviously following us. And obviously I do something so specific, it's not going to resonate with everyone. So if you have a friend that you might be like, oh my God, my friend would love Greg, my friend would love Julie, my friend would love Violet, Blossom, Melanie, then share our profile with that person, because that's a way that, you know, we're reaching you when you're right here, but to actually grow, we need to reach the next level. And I think that's really a great way to support. And also, I prefer live, so I have a few tracks and I don't have courses because my whole thing is I really want to interact with you guys. So, but if you listen to tracks or courses of teachers and you leave reviews and not just stars, that's also extremely helpful for teachers because income is based on that and the interaction of the teacher and the student. So it's super helpful to do that as well. And then,
I didn't realize that when I started on Insight Timer, I used to just leave stars. I didn't realize that if you don't leave a comment, the teacher is not going to get anything for that. So now I'm like going back and trying to find people that I left reviews for, because you can edit your review. So I've gone back and I've typed in comments, even if it's an emoji, a smile, praying hands, beautiful, great, thank you, anything. Those comments really make a difference. So go on.
I'm just going to say, even if this is the way I feel. If you didn't love something, maybe it's better not to leave a bad review or leave constructive criticism, because none of us can grow if we don't know why someone didn't like it. So, as a cookbook author, obviously on Amazon, people do this a lot. They might leave. Thankfully, I didn't get really any negative reviews, but people will leave a negative review, sometimes with just a star, but no feedback. So it's hard to grow as a human when you don't get the feedback about maybe why someone didn't enjoy something. And because I'm a teacher, I am super open to feedback. Even if you're in my live and maybe you wrote to me and said, oh, it was, whatever, it didn't resonate with me. And also knowing that not everything we do is going to resonate with everyone, I think is an important thing to remember. But also for someone like me, because my publisher is like, you need a bigger following. Right. So, because if I want to do my next book, they're like, this is just where we are in society. And that's unfortunately, I actually have no desire to go on social media other than Insight Timer. But that's why, for me, the following is important, because I need to show a publisher that I have numbers of people behind me. So for me, those are the things constructive feedback, following, and supporting us by sharing our profiles. Or, someone actually, a student of mine said, oh my gosh, I was in a live and people were talking about you. And I don't think that's necessary, but I think that's also amazing, because that does spread the word quite a bit.
I talk about you all the time.
Violet loves you. It's mutual.
And I love what you said about constructive feedback, because I have gotten feedback in reviews, and people are very nice. They'll still leave me a 4 or a 5-star review, and they'll say, I wish there'd been more silence or more music, or that you had used a different, whatever. And I always respond to everybody, and I'm like, thank you so much for that feedback, because now the next track, I'm going to use that. I'm going to put more silence. I'm going to use better music. I'm going to make sure that the volume is good. So that's a great suggestion. Absolutely. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll add on to that. So onto what Melanie was saying. So just so that everybody who's in attendance understands, Insight Timer pays us through a number of different means. If you listen to one of our tracks for at least 52 minutes or 50% of the track, we get a smidge. If it's a premium track or a course, we get more. But what Melanie was saying about leaving the review, the stars are still really important, because I think the stars are what controls where your tracks end up showing up when you go into the main screen of the app. But the reviews give us an opportunity to do what Insight Timer calls as engagement. So when we reply to a review, or if you take a course and ask a question and the teacher replies to that, we get paid more for that than just for somebody listening to the track or the course. So that's really nice. I think the biggest thing is just spreading the word. If you really love a teacher, there's lots of different ways to say it, right? If you were inspired, or if something really impactful happened, from that teacher's guidance, or you just love their energy or whatever, tell your friends, share their tracks, like in your other groups that you're in, but just spread the word, because really what Melanie was saying was about building a following. The extra exposure is just hugely helpful. And honestly, it's really fun when somebody new comes into a live and they're like, I heard about you from so-and-so, right? Oh, that's so cool. That's just that's another piece of the community, Other than that, we're not supposed to promote each other, so I can't really say anything about what I'm doing outside of Insight Timer, right? I wish there was a way to do that. But
Check out your Linktree profile, Greg.
that's the only thing. Yeah, check out the Linktree profile. Yeah, and really that we're allowed one URL, one link that we put in the About tab. If you don't know where teachers' profile About tabs are, go check it out. That's where their bio is. You might learn something new about them. You might find their link posts to other resources that aren't available on Insight Timer, and that could help your growth. So I don't know, but I think the big thing is just spreading the word.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I have to hop off, but I want to also give a shout out to Megan Whitney, who is a teacher. She's a mindfulness and self-compassion teacher on the app.
And I did see her here, right, Megan? You're still here, I think?
She might have left, but
Oh, okay.
she was here earlier, and she was the one who gave me the courage to start doing lives, because she was, paved the way for me. So yeah, just like that, just sharing each other's stories and what we love about Insight Timer. So thank you all for inviting me and engaging in conversation. It's been so fun.
Thank you for coming, and I hope the next time we do it, you're available. You can come again, because I would love to do this again and invite more people. And we're not done. We're just saying goodbye.
I say something before you leave, Julie.
Julie.
I just want to put out there that if you're here and you're not following a teacher, go to the profile. And if you don't remember someone's name, maybe take a screenshot of all of us so you can do that.
Or ask
Last name is
me. I'm happy to tell you. In fact, I wanted to put links in my link tree of everybody's background, and I was so busy today, I never got the chance to do that. I wasn't sure who was showing up, but message me if there's anybody here that you can't connect with. Please message me, because I will connect you. Absolutely. I do that all the time.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Julie. Danny had a great question too. I love this question, Danny. Have you ever had a person in any of your lives who has been negative, and how did you handle the haters? Has anybody experienced like a heckler or I've seen it happen in other lives.
It happened at another teacher's life.
Yeah, where somebody was just being, rude.
Well, not that person was basically saying, help me, and the teacher handled it very well, and he said that there's always Insight Timer support staff at every live session. So he alerted the staff.
Is there someone at every session though? Because I've been in other lives where I've reported someone for being inappropriate, and they haven't gotten rid of them quick enough. So I wonder if they really do go to all the lives, or it's just kind of hit or miss kind of a thing. And Danny, no, as a teacher, you can't boot someone from your live. I wish you could, but I guess that could get kind of.
Quick, we can report them, but I don't know how quickly any action is taken.
Yeah.
And I think this teacher was using the flag.
Danny.
You click the flag button, there are two options. one of them is, I think this person needs help or something like that.
Yeah.
I think he used that option.
Because I'm just looking now, like I can flag someone the same as anybody else can, but I don't have any additional option. It's just like, flag this person. And then I'm just clicking on somebody. Don't worry, I'm not going to report you. Then you can flag them for spamming, for being offensive or political, or they need help. But, everybody else has the same option. So I don't know how quickly, sometimes they respond quickly. Like this morning at a live, I saw a message disappear immediately. So I wonder if that's done like automatically. And then other things you have to wait until somebody actually sees the report and does something about it.
I think nasty comments, I think they were deleted by AI
Right,
help.
right.
They were gone immediately.
I have to tell you, there are certain words that trigger that. I was at a live once where certain phallic words were typed, and not inappropriately, just because the teacher was talking about a phallic shaped crystal, and because that phallic word was put in the chat, that got blanked out. That person was muted throughout the rest of the live, and it wasn't malicious. It was just AI picked it up, and that was it. It cut them out. Jean says, I've been in a live when someone came in and was offensive. The whole group was flagging the person and they were gone. Yeah, I've been in lives like that as well. Heidi, Googling the meaning of phallic.
Yes, you can reach out to me. Sure. I love getting direct messages, and I love helping other people get rolling.
Yeah, Peace is asking, can she reach out to anybody about starting her own business and advice? I'm sure the people who are business owners would be happy to. I don't own my own business. I couldn't help. Heidi, you did spell it right.
I'll message you I'll direct you to somewhere outside.
Yeah, I was to say Blossom is good with giving resources. I thought I was like resource queen. Blossom has me beat by far, because anytime anybody has a question, she's Googling everything for you before I can respond.
I'm retired, got nothing to do.
Hey, listen, it helps other people. That's good.
Yeah.
Did I miss?
Questions you guys have?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let us know. What are the questions?
I'm gonna pull an Insight Timer live break and go to the restroom. I'll be right back.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Kimmy says some of us are going through difficult times, and most teachers provide yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's, that's something that brings me a lot of joy too, is knowing that we can do that for you, because, we've had people do it for us as well. And that's that whole paying it forward thing for me, that's a big deal. Any advice on creating a brand name? I'm struggling to pick a name for my business and Insight Timer profile.
Talk about this.
Go for it.
Well, Peace, I would love to talk to you because I have two businesses, and I actually think that people don't put enough thought in their branding. So please reach out to me. You can obviously see this behind me. There's a very deep story about my logo and the elements in north, south, east, west, air, earth, fire, water. I'm not going to go into it, but as someone who really puts a lot of thought into it, and my other business is called the Mindful Table, which I took a play off that logo, but kept it open-ended. And those are tables. Those are circular tables. So I would love to help you. You can reach out to me at any time.
He asked if teachers debrief, and I was just responding, Kimmy, that we do not debrief. Like, we don't have a debrief process, but we did form a supportive group that we encourage and support one another through outside of Insight Timer, because unfortunately, you can't really converse on Insight Timer the way you can outside. And it's great because, we can email each other, we can talk to each other through the group, we can share ideas, bounce questions off of one another. I'm just looking to see what else. Heidi, I get scared that I may be stepping out of my scope of practice. And Heidi, again, don't be scared of stepping outside of, I call it my box, because I have stepped outside of my box big time, with work, with Insight Timer, with everything I've done. So I don't know if you were here before when I was saying my motto to myself is always feel the fear and do it anyway. And because of that, I have come so far, like just with work, my personal life, with so many things, big moves that I made, big decisions that I've made. And yeah, they were scary. They were terrifying. And I'm sorry, I've got the sun on my face now. It's not enough that it's 90 degrees outside and my air conditioner is broken. The sun is now beating on me. So if you can't, if I'm shining, that's why. But these are great questions. Yes, that's right, Danny. That's right. The solstice. Peace wants to know what goes into becoming a teacher on Insight Timer. Does anybody want to answer that? Because we all know. Peter illuminating me. Yes, I'm in the spotlight now. So to become a teacher, there's a place on Insight Timer where you apply and you can just Google, how do I become a teacher on Insight Timer? And that link will pop up. And you have to create 2 tracks. Obviously, you create a profile. If you have one already, that's fine. But you have to have, they're very specific about images, and they have this all on their website. You have to have like a clear image. They want you to be facing the camera, which if you notice in my picture, I was not. So I had a lot of going back and forth on my picture, and then they finally accepted it because besides not liking to be on camera, I don't like taking pictures of myself. So that picture that I used was at a friend's wedding, was the only picture that I liked. I think I had 2 pictures maybe, and they were giving me a hard time. So it's important that you have a picture that's got a good resolution. You're facing the camera. They want, I think it's like your upper body to show and some space above your head. Like if you go to their website, the instructions are very specific and sometimes a little challenging. I was not going to get a professional headshot. I know some people do that, and that's great. But I was working with what I had. So you have to have a good picture. You have to create 2 tracks. A lot of us use Audacity, which is a free program. Greg mentioned GarageBand, which I believe is a Mac program. I don't use Mac computers, but you have to have these 2 tracks. The picture. Did I forget anything else? You have to, if you're going to do yoga, you have to upload your credentials. I think for meditation teachers, maybe too. I'm not sure.
If you're then you can have a photo taken, next to your musical instruments.
Yes.
No selfies.
Right.
Selfies.
None of this arm stuff. Yeah.
I'm not going to accept that. You don't need a professional camera. I just use my phone and
Right.
got my son to take a photo of me and chose the best photo that I like. I did say there was a section where you have to send in your qualifications if you have them. I sent in my music degree qualification, and I don't think they're absolutely necessary, but if you have it there, they will have a look at it. So you need to create 2 tracks, and those 2 tracks you need to have 4.5 rating as a minimum rating. So you're required to send in 4 initially. 2 of them need to be at least 4.5 rating stars. And mine 2 were above 4.5, so I applied pretty soon after. So when you fill in the application, you fill in a form to become a teacher, and you need to send in a short recording, I think 4 or 5 minutes long, not too long. They're not very concerned with the content in the video. All they want to see is if the video is clear enough, it's not blurry or anything like that. And if the audio is clear as well, that's all they want to see. They're not looking for the content. So
That's right. I forgot about the video. Yeah, I forgot about that
The
video.
video.
Yeah.
And they're checking your they check your upload and download speed too. So you want to make sure that you have a good internet connection, and you can test that through various websites, and they even recommend some to use.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm sorry, go ahead, boss. Sorry.
I was just going to say that make sure your computer is, I guess, not too off, because as a musician, I have lots of things hook up to the computer, and I was using my laptop. And even though the laptop was only a few years old, when I bought it, it was already an old model laptop. And the operating system just wasn't fast enough. In the end, I had to buy a new computer, a tower, because the laptop was making a lot of fan noises. So if you're thinking of becoming a teacher and you have the funds for it, upgrade to the fastest speed computer that you can afford. That will minimize the technical issue, because when the computer has so much to do, it will lag and all that. So buy the computer that you can afford. If you have an old computer, just try it and see how you go.
I have to say, I have seen teachers on old computers, and they're not, I don't think they're too strict on that. I think that's more of a personal preference. Like for me, being a technology junkie, the first time I tried to work with OBS, even though I had a good laptop, it was lagging. Zoom and OBS, they consume a lot of resources. So of course I used that as my excuse to upgrade my laptop immediately, even though it was only a few years old. And it makes a big difference, but I think that's really up to the teacher. Some people don't have the money to buy equipment, and that's okay. Use what you have. Don't hesitate because of that. Like, I don't want anybody to say, oh, I may not have a really fast computer or, great equipment, or I can't spend money. Don't let that stop you. Just go for it.
Try what you have first, and then if that doesn't work, then think about the next option you have.
Yeah, and Insight Timer does a really good job at curating, if you know that word, curating the content. So I was really impressed when I signed up last year. Like, when you want to schedule a live, you have to do it 48 hours before you want to do it, and then they review what you requested, and they usually publish it live right away. It can take a week for a track to publish because they're really reviewing all of it to make sure that it fits with their content philosophy, as well as mostly the quality, like Lawson was saying.
Yeah, I agree. And they do direct you towards certain things, like, if you want to do a live with another teacher, there's a place where they tell you, okay, you can do that with OBS, which is the software we're using, Open Broadcaster software, and also free software. Audacity is free software. So it's not like you have to invest money in these things. They're available for free. And if you are thinking of becoming a teacher, send one of us a message. We're more than happy to invite you to the group that we have for people who are either teachers or want to become teachers. And that group is really helpful, especially if you're looking for ideas or resources that you should have or shouldn't have or whatever. Message us and we will send you an invitation to that group.
Definitely message either Violet or me about using OBS if you have a background similar to mine. I'm gonna be real here. I'm gonna show you what my actual real background looks like. It's nothing. That's a door behind me. Originally there were photos of someone else's family that I didn't want exposed. I didn't have the means or the environment to create a warm and inviting environment, and so I went with virtual backgrounds, which we use OBS for, and everybody's loved them. I thought that they would be, I don't know what they would be.
I love them too. I play with them all the time.
I love them. They're so fun, but you know what? Because Insight Timer actually made the suggestion while I was applying to do lives, and it said, make sure your background, the area behind you is warm and inviting or something. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. So I did it with virtuals.
Here's me at the beach now. Cooling off from the heat. In fact, it works with the sun, so I'm going to keep that. I'm just looking. Peace, this is amazing. Yes, Peace, I'm loving this too. It's awesome. It's awesome for me. I'm glad that everyone is enjoying it. I'm glad that we were able to get together and do it. And, if you have any more questions, feel free to put them out there. I know we've been on almost 2 hours and we should probably let people go soon, but we're here now, so ask away. Yes, the kitchen background was my favorite. I did, however, say I want to make it into purple so that the next time Melanie and I do that, we have our purple background. And that reminds me, our next book club meeting is July 25th. And we are reading The Coincidence of Coconut Cake. I just downloaded the book from the library and I am loving the story. So if you're not in the book club, please join if you're interested at all. And it's obviously, it's Melanie's book club, so it's obviously food related, but the books have been awesome. The last one we read, I loved. This one I love. And, you know, that's a good self-care technique right there. It had been so long since I listened to a book because I'm always listening to self-help stuff. So it's been refreshing for me to actually listen to a story, like a novel. I'm loving that. Blossom, what did you say there? Philip will be doing 2 lives on July 4th. Okay.
Two today. Well, he did one last night and one this morning for me, but it's in UK. It's actually yesterday or something too, at the same time. So yeah, he's amazing. Philip Wade. Anyone who doesn't know about Philip Wade, do check him out. He was the teacher who basically saved me from all the
Kimmy just posted. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off real quick. Kimmy posted a great question. I love that. How did you all come together to get this live to happen? It was a whim. It was just a thought, you know, and that's what I love about Insight Timer and getting to know all these teachers. It's, you know, and Melanie, like I bounce so many things off of her. I'm like, you know, I'm thinking of, you know, because I think of stuff sometimes and I'm like, is that silly? And I'll be like, I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think? She's like, I think it's a great idea. Do it. So I'm like, all right, that's all the validation I need. I'm going to go for it. Put it out there. And as Greg wrote in the chat, you know, I posted it in our teachers group and a bunch of people said, yeah, they'd be willing to do it. There were actually a lot of people that were interested. Some couldn't make it. So we're definitely going to schedule another one, maybe on a weekend where we could have more flexibility with the time. Heidi says you should do it more. That's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. See that right there? That makes me so happy because it was a win. It really was a win. And I was like, wouldn't it be fun to just kind of get together with other teachers? We'll call it Ask Your Guides, which I had to explain to Blossom at first thought that I was looking for us to tap into our guides. And I was like, no, we're the guides, the teachers. So we're just going to let people ask us questions. Oh, Judy, that's wonderful. See, and I love that too. I said to a few of the new teachers, you know, come join us in this live. It's a great way to gain exposure too for new teachers. So I love that Judy wrote, she discovered 3 new teachers to follow. That's great. Love it. Almost 2 a.m. in Belgium. Wow. Okay.
Wow, you're up late. Keith, can you clarify that question? You said, what is the group doing on FB? It's just a group of fellow teachers that one of the teachers made a Facebook group. And I don't even know how I found out about them.
Did I tell you? Because I know I was
Did you invite me?
I was inviting everybody I knew as soon as I got invited by Peter, who was here. And I started inviting everybody else that I knew. I don't know if it was me. It might have been. I don't know.
Another serendipity.
Right. And then there are people that want to be teachers who are also welcome to join the group. So I've been inviting a lot of people who have mentioned in chat, you know, I'm thinking about it or whatever. I'm like, then, you know, join the group and get to know, like Blossom said, get to know the other teachers. And speaking of teachers, I know there are other teachers here. CG is a teacher. Megan left. I don't know if there's any teachers here, but always during any of our lives, if there are teachers, put it in the chat. Let people know that you're a teacher.
Yeah, I know some teachers don't. Yeah, I know some teachers don't like other teachers to promote in their space.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Respect that.
Yes, absolutely.
But honestly, in my perspective is there's no competition.
No.
Like there's 26 million users on the app and people choose who they want to, you know, attend and visit with, and they can visit with everybody, you know, depending on how much time they have, they can spend all day.
I agree. And that's a great point. Definitely respect that. I've been in other lives where people have mentioned I'm a teacher and I know the person doing the live doesn't really like that. And I kind of step back and I'm like, we'll talk later or whatever, because it is important to respect that. For the most part, the teachers that I know do encourage you to put in the chat that you're a teacher as well. And definitely everybody here does. I know they do. Yes, that's right. Deb. Deb is a teacher. Yes, Deb is a teacher.
Always encourage teachers to write in the chat, to let everybody know what they're doing. I always welcome that. I may forget to say it sometimes, but yeah. And
Right.
also another reminder is, Insight Timer has a lot of rules that you can't promote anything from outside. You may see some teachers do it. Just because they do it doesn't mean that you can do it. I mean, the rules applies to everybody. Don't mention anything about outside, including teachers and meditators. So if you mention anything about outside,
You will get banned. Yeah.
it has happened to me the first time. Yeah, so don't mention anything. If you want to know what teachers are doing, always go to the teacher's profile, the About page. And I think many teachers have a link there. If you click on it, you'll find out how to contact them outside. If they're willing to share the information, and you can ask them questions there. Because any questions relating to outside, if you ask in the chat, we cannot.
Right, right. And most teachers do put in their most teachers in their teacher profile have a link tree, which will connect you with any resource, emails, websites, anything that they have. So that's the easiest thing to do, is go to the teacher's profile. Unfortunately, I know you can't see that if you're on a laptop. Like you can see it on your phone, but you can't see it on the laptop. So that's kind of that's kind of another problem too, that hopefully they'll figure out eventually.
Deb, I think that's a really subjective personal decision. I didn't have the money or the inclination to try and figure out writing marketing copy to make a website. And the person who inspired me to become a teacher, Jackie Mancuso, she's a great astrology teacher and spiritual coach. She had a Linktree link in hers, and I thought that's great, because then I can aggregate all of my links, which I would have done on a website anyways. So instead of sending them to a website to have them go to all these other things, I was just like, let me use Linktree, and then whatever I'm doing, I can put in there and not worry about it. So for me, it's just been easier.
Yeah.
But I don't have a professional web presence outside of my socials. So it just, I don't know. It made sense for me. Like I said, it's kind of personal and totally subjective.
And Linktree is free, and it's great because you could put your email and your website and your blog, and I've put links to Insight Timer in there. I have my group is linked there. If I'm doing, if I'm suddenly spur of the moment doing something else, I'll just add that to my Linktree as well, because all they have to do is go to this one spot in your profile, and everything that you have to offer is there. So I definitely am a huge fan of using Linktree that way.
And if you have even a smidge of technology or somebody that can help with it, you can point your domain name, which is what I do. You can point your domain name to your Linktree link.
Yes.
And so instead of having to give the gobbledygook of the Linktree link, you can just say your domain name, and it functions in the same way. So it's a nice little, what do they call that these days? A hack? It's not really.
Yeah, kind of. Nice. That sounds good.
Sign off because I have to make my family dinner. They're
Oh.
Mary's dinner, lady.
What are we having?
I'm gonna make burgers.
So lovely. Your burgers must be amazing in that kitchen.
I got to tell you all, I ate in her kitchen and it was amazing. But we're going to wrap this up because, we've been on 2 hours. I've got to go as well. And, once I shut down, the rest of you are gone. So,
That's true.
thank you
for everyone being here.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And we will definitely stay tuned, because we're definitely going to be doing this again, because this has been amazing.
So thanks, Violet.
Oh,
This
you're
is a great idea.
You're so welcome. It's like totally my pleasure.
Melanie.
Yeah, thank you all.
Julie.
All right, I'm going to click on ending live and we will be in touch. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.